my protection.
Protection from what?
Koryuken.
We're gonna be in the new world in no time. This is exhilarating. Get excited.
Look, I want to fly in on a dragon, okay?
Mr. Squig Elf,
What?
dragons don't exist.
What do you mean?
They're fictional creatures, sir. They can't actually, like, fly you anywhere.
Since when?
Forever?
Get this guy out of here. Find me a dragon.
Good lord.
I think what he actually says is they don't have dragons. Who doesn't? The world. Get this guy out of here. Find me a dragon.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what the guy was saying. But, yeah. Friggin' Squizgar, of course, wanting to fly in on a freaking dragon.
I don't blame him.
I don't either. It'd be awesome. It'd be badass. That's one of the things about Doom: The Dark Ages that I actually was excited about. But oh well. I guess it just is what it is. So, How to Train Your Dragon.
Also, everybody that pooped on me over me being like, I don't know how I feel about how Doom Dark Ages looks when we watched the trailer. How you feel about that Doom Dark Ages reception right now?
Well, I guarantee you some of the diehards will just be like, it's got like an 86 or 85 or an 86 on Metacritic.
Yes, but is it Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal quality? I don't think so.
It isn't. According to, like, everyone I know and I trust, they're saying that it's basically Doom with kitty wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And not even that good of a Doom, because there's stuff in it that's just head-scratchingly silly. The How to Train Your Dragon, I'm interested in potentially seeing. Just depends on what the people who I trust think about it. But anyway, are you ready to hop into this? All right, here we go.
Come check us out at Planet FunCon in Iowa, June 27th to the 29th. Hope to see you there.
Hello, I'm Corey last name.
And I'm Jill, other last name. Today we revisit a rivalry as old as time itself.
That's right, the ongoing and often petty rivalry between two major studios, DreamWorks and Disney.
A rivalry so desperate they even split one of their chairmans.
Jeff Katzenberg. The whole Katzenberg situation. That's the whole reason why DreamWorks even exists. Disney screwed him over and he was like, you know what? I'm going to build their biggest competition. And then the first film they did was Shrek, and the rest is history.
Jill, who do we know for sure started this rivalry?
Well, it's hard to say. The chairman who fire quit said he brought his idea for a bug movie with him.
But Disney made one regardless. Who would you say won this round?
Well, A Bug's Life pulled a Hitchcock and made an entire generation afraid of birds. However, Ants was released first, so I guess the point goes to DreamWorks.
Ah, yes. And what about the second round when they both released underwater comedies?
Here the point definitely goes to Disney,
Finding
as
Nemo.
Finding Nemo is considered an animated classic.
While Will Smith Fish is now considered one of the four horsemen of the apocalypse.
However,
It is one of the worst animated films I've ever seen.
Disney wouldn't have the same luck with their wild animals back in the wild phase.
Indeed, Madagascar had 3 movies to follow.
And the wild doesn't even show up on IMDb's drop-down search.
Again, though, Disney does make a little bit of a comeback with their mermaid movies.
Correct. We had 2 mermaid movies come out the same year. One eventually ended up turning a profit.
And the other one exists.
So it looks like both studios are neck and neck.
Ah, but DreamWorks has caught up to Disney's disappointment with a desperate attempt of their own.
That's true. DreamWorks is trying to destroy their animated legacy with their own live-action remakes.
Granted, DreamWorks is 20 years late to the cinematic slaughtering of brain cells, but they hope they can cash in the same way Disney did.
The key word being did, as Disney has 2 live-action remakes this year, and the first one seemed to lose more money than you did on your gambling debts.
My personal life is none of your business, Jill.
Well, when the Mafia asks me for your address, I make it my business, Corey.
Did you give it to them, Jill?
Sleep with one eye open, Corey.
Regardless, DreamWorks is hoping it can have the same success success with a remake nobody asked for.
Even going so far as getting the director of the original to direct the remake.
Well, okay. Little nitpick there. Dean DeBelois was the director, well, he was the co-director alongside Chris Sanders of the first film. Dean DeBelois stayed on the How to Train Your Dragon series, whereas Chris Sanders went on to do The Croods. And, yeah, Dean DeBelois is considered... What?
I didn't hear good things about The Croods.
The first one is okay. There's some hilarious memes from it. I'm hungry in a minute! That meme always makes me laugh.
Not even seen that one that I know of.
It's pretty funny. But then there's also, the second one. I haven't seen the second one, but I hear it's not as good as the first. And then,
I just heard the first one wasn't good, but I don't know.
But How to Train Your Dragon, Dean DeBelois did do the first one, or was the co-director of the first one and was the lead director of the second and third one. So, yeah, technically correct.
Sounds like the better of the two is the one that's going to be directing it at least.
Agreed. I will say I think Dean DeBelois is a better director than Chris Sanders because his work stands out overall better than Chris's.
Which is why this live-action remake of an animated film looks like an animated film.
But at least it's not a cartoon, because cartoons are for babies and live action is for grown-ups.
Agreed. No child should have to see these uncanny valley nightmares.
That's also why they have to spell out that fairy tales shouldn't be taken literally, because Disney thinks grown-ups aren't aware of that.
And hopefully How to Train Your Dragon will successfully join that pandering mindset.
It better. DreamWorks already greenlit a sequel before this one comes out.
Will it have the same shot-for-shot nostalgia?
No. They literally were just like, this is going to make us so much money. Greenlight a second one. But the first one hasn't even been bad. Greenlight a second one. Okay. Me.
Shouldn't we wait and see if it does well? It's like Disney doesn't.
No.
Clearly it doesn't matter. You just do them anyways. You'll make money eventually.
Eventually.
Because everybody goes to see them for some reason, whether they're good or not.
Except for the Snow White one, dude. The Snow White one, everybody ran to the hills when that came out.
Well, they finally did something just so blatantly terrible looking, you know?
Well, multiple delays, plus the whole thing with Rachel Zegler not shutting her fucking mouth. I mean, she's allowed to have her opinions, but...
Well, it helped it got memed into oblivion, too, because that spread the word to more people that, hey, this is probably going to be a trash movie before it released, you know?
Yeah, and turns out it was. And I know there's people out there who say, I enjoyed it. It's like, okay, all well and good. If you enjoyed it, cool, more power to you. Me... I have no interest in seeing it because the people who I trust and the people who I know are like, they don't have agendas. That's the thing about the people that I trust. They don't have agendas. If they find something funny, regardless of who's in it or whatever, they're going to say they liked it. And if it's bad, agendas aside, they're going to say it's bad. That's just how they operate, and I love them for that.
Nostalgia baiting its other lazy installments.
Hard to say.
Really?
No, of course it will.
With Chris Sanders getting the biggest paycheck for the easiest summer job ever.
So who do you think will win this round, Corey?
Well, that's the twist, Jill. All of us lose this time around.
But at least we won't have to lose watching cartoons, because that's baby stuff.
Childish baby stuff. Now let's continue to watch these clearly non-animated creations like proper adults.
That's good emptiness.
I told you to stay out of my affairs, Jill.
That was a response to this creative bankruptcy, not your cries for help, Corey.
Either way, I feel like crying now, Jill.
Bury it inside yourself, Corey.
Got it.
Okay, then.
Yep, now DreamWorks is joining the fad of pointless live-action remakes. I guess anything is possible, and maybe it'll be good, but it sure doesn't look good. But with yet another studio's attempt to make you copy over your memory of an anime classic, I thought it makes sense to look at why the original anime classic was so beloved. Released in 2010 and directed by Chris Sanders and Dean DeBelois, the film took a story we've heard a million times and seemed to breathe new fire into it. I'll be honest, when I first saw the trailer, I dreaded it because it looked like a film I could predict from beginning to end with nothing new added. But in typical Sanders fashion, it took something I heard over and over and retold it in a way that felt fresh and new. Just based on its story, you would assume nothing major would result from all this, but through good world building, likable characters, and immersive visuals, we got an epic trilogy, engaging theme park attractions, and it just can't be good, right?
And also, don't forget about Riders of Berk, because Riders of Berk, from what a lot, I saw like the first half of the first season, and it was all right.
So I wanted to look back and see what this film did to win everybody over before we witness what it's going to do to lose everybody again. Because if there's anything I know, it's how studios love to find a comfort zone.
Coming up next on Disney vs. DreamWorks sequels.
Please set aside 12 hours for our coverage.
Let's take a look at the original, How to Train Your Dragon. It opens with a Ray Romano balloon being given more helium.
We have fishing, hunting, and a charming view of the sunsets.
Actually, that's Hiccup, played by Jay Baruchel. And yeah, I've made fun of this guy's voice before, but he really does have a lot of talent when properly utilized. And this movie properly utilizes him.
The meathead with attitude and interchangeable hands is Gobber. I've been his apprentice ever since I was little. Well, littler.
He sounds immediately like an outcast, which how couldn't you with the vocals of the shrunken head of Nathan Fielder? But as the film goes on, it does show he can handle the dramatic moments just as well as the comedic.
Parents believe a hideous name will frighten off gnomes and trolls, like our charming Viking demeanor.
As Vikings, you might be wondering why we sound Scottish instead of Scandinavian. Oh, you're not. Never mind.
Well, there's a lot of Viking DNA in Scotland, and a lot of the actors in this who are portraying Vikings are in fact Scottish. Gerard Butler, Craig Ferguson, and in all honesty, here's the thing about accents that I've discovered. If you want to be taken seriously, go British. Do you know why? Because if you're set in revolutionary France, you cannot do a stereotypical French accent like everyone speaking in English with a French accent. Otherwise, it would sound goofy, and it would sound. How are you supposed to take Les Miserables seriously if it's in that hokey French accent?
You gotta hear one of the characters in Disco Elysium, because he speaks in a French accent, but you definitely take him seriously.
And you see, that's okay. But if you have everybody doing it, and some people do not have like a voice that can like reel you in like that. I mean, I've heard Eddie Redmayne's French accent. It's terrible. But whenever you're doing serious, go English. Whenever you're doing comedy, go Scottish. Do you know why? Shrek. Literally, that's the whole thing. They tried to do Shrek with like a standardized like English accent, a standardized American accent, and then Mike Myers was like, Can I try the Scottish accent? Because his parents are Scottish, so he actually knows how to do the Scottish accent very well. So he did that. Off to the races, and now Scottish accents have a comedic edge to them. Even though, you know,
what are you doing in my swamp?
Yes, of course. And then here, Craig Ferguson and Gerard, Craig Ferguson especially is hilarious as Gobber, because Gobber, just his delivery, he's like, no, trolls do exist. They steal your socks, but only the left ones. And just out of nowhere, it's just little lines like that just add to the character and the comedy. But anyway.
In the land of Berk, the Vikings are constantly at war with the dragons, who seem to endlessly attack their village.
Astrid.
Played by America Ferrera.
That's not fair to him. You could put anything in front of an explosion and it'll look great.
Nope, still terrible.
Didn't work.
Still terrible, Doug. Still shit. Just, nah. Hold on. I got something for that.
Fair to him. Explosion and it'll look great.
There we go.
And I will say the animation is both a little better and a little lesser than I remember it. Okay, so I said before, this is one of the best 3D movies I ever saw. Hell, it might be the best 3D movie I ever saw. The flying scenes especially know how to make you feel like you're in the air with these creatures. But when it's all cleaned up and on the smaller screen, the textures do look a little Toy Story 1-ish. However, whenever there's moody lighting, it looks really damn good. It's strange because most CG, especially back then, looked better when it was well lit, but for some reason the heavy shadows in this movie really make the textures look more solid.
You need to stop all this.
But you just pointed to all of me.
Yes.
Also, if you could sound a little less like a slowed-down Fran Drescher, that'd be good too. So see if any of this sounds familiar. Hiccup is a scrawny inventor who isn't very good at fighting. His action-prone father, played by Gerard Butler, comes to the conclusion that training him to fight dragons will toughen him up. But he doesn't seem to fit in. He discovers a dragon he shot down, but finds he can't kill him, and eventually learns to befriend him, learning not all dragons are evil. The more he finds out about the dragon, the more he uses it to trick people into thinking he's a dragon slayer, and at some point he has to admit he's not a prince, warrior, shark slayer, gunslinger, astronaut, wizard, or whatever these two are in half their movies.
Yeah, the liar reveal story, it is so bog standard with a lot of films in Hollywood. Animated, live action, doesn't matter. Every time I see it coming, I'm just like, oh god. And then in the back of my mind, I'm just like, I wonder if Doug's thinking the exact same thing I am, because he hates this story trope so much.
Yeah, like I said, the story is very, very common.
Yeah, bog standard.
But there is a lot that sets it apart, and a good chunk of that is from the characters and the actors who play them. First off, good lord, I forgot how many names are in this. Craig Ferguson, America Ferrera, Jonah Hill, Kristen Wiig, Christopher Mintz-Plasse. Somehow always playing the animated opposite of how he looks in real life.
Yeah. But you're also forgetting Gerard Butler.
But like I mentioned, it isn't just the performances. These characters are written to be very relatable. Hiccup's father, for example, could easily be a one-dimensional jerk, but you can tell while he's frustrated with his son, he still loves him and wants what's best for him. Yet it's not overplayed.
Even as a boy, I knew what I was. Hiccup is not that boy.
You can't stop him, Stoic. You can only prepare him.
Even Gobber, who Hiccup works for him, would usually just be throwaway comic relief, has a lot of moments where you can tell he really does care for him.
It's not what you look like, it's what's inside that he can't stand. Stop trying so hard to be something you're not.
Also, his metal tooth, when he's taking a drink, it literally falls out in the cup, and he's like, oh, and he's like, ugh. He puts it back in, and he hammers it back in with the bottom of the cup. I was like, yes. Oh, that's so Viking. I love it.
That's two father figures for Hiccup, but they feel so real and distinct that it doesn't come across as crowded or repetitive. And in most other cases, it would. Even when Hiccup's gonna try and kill the dragon he captured, the dragon doesn't look angry or give a sad face like most movies would. He just closes his eyes like, yep, always knew this was part of it. I blow shit up, you turn me into a bicycle seat. My head's already shaped for it. Hiccup finds he can't do it and sets him free, but his damaged tail prevents him from leaving the area. Hiccup realizes he might be able to use this to his advantage, as in dragon training, he's not exactly the deadliest fighter.
Knives, make lots of it to throw off a dragon's aim. All dragons have a limited number of shots.
And notice not only are the dragons unique, I mean, I'm sure you've seen a million dragons in a million stories, but ones from here are instantly recognizable from this franchise.
Yeah.
And each one has different traits. It's legit fun to hear what makes these dragons different from each other. It's like Discovery Channel if Max wasn't trying to shove it down your gullet.
Dear God, you're right. I also love the scene where he's going and he's naming all as like the horrendous nightmare, the terrible terror, and Fish Legs is like giving out like D&D stats. It's like strength 12, speed 6, and then after doing it like 3 or 4 times, Craig Ferguson's just like, will you stop that? Anyway, today he'll be fighting the terrible terror, and it's the little one. I love it so much.
Simpleback. One head breathes gas, the other head lights it.
This one is called 3 Balls. He has no special skills, just 3 balls. It's weird and I can't not mention it. Are battle boners a thing?
The Dragon Manual. Everything we know about every dragon we know of.
He studies Tobin's Dragon Guide and has a nice touch. The more immersed he gets into studying dragons, the more immersive the book literally becomes.
The Bone Nether.
Life, the more he discovers. On that note, Hiccup does discover more about his new dragon
Well,
friends.
if anybody wants to know what doing LSD is like,
Yeah.
that's what it looks like.
Yeah, moving pictures.
Yep.
He's toothless, seeing how he can hide his teeth at any
Everything kind
moment.
of moves just very slightly like that in your vision.
Toothless, like the other dragons, is a really great design. It's like he's half salamander, half cat. They combine so many animals in this one beast, yet he still moves in a distinct way you feel like only this creature would move.
Also, funny enough, the creators of this movie also did Lilo and Stitch. And the face design and the ears are very Stitch in terms of his movement, in terms of it showing emotions. And yeah, I thought that was, I think it's actually kind of hilarious now. The remake of Lilo and Stitch, which is directed by all new people, is going up against How to Train Your Dragon live action, directed by the original people who did Lilo and Stitch. I think that's actually kind of ironic.
And this one beast, yet he still moves in a distinct way you feel like only this creature would move. And honestly, I never put together how similar the outline of his face is to Stitch.
See what I mean?
Another creation from this directing duo. Through some great visual storytelling, Hiccup learns more about how Toothless thinks and communicates. And every step of the way feels believable given the world and environment they've established. And you're immediately sucked in because at the same time Hiccup discovers something new, you're discovering something new. Like, you're learning these neat facts with him, sharing in his excitement. Which is so much more interesting than let me tell you in 5 paragraphs how this works.
Yeah, that's the one Achilles heel about Interstellar. I love the visuals, but dear God, the exposition makes me just want to bore my eyes out with a melon baller. And I didn't watch Jupiter Ascending. Kind of glad I didn't. Although it's one of the rare films where Sean Bean doesn't die. I was disappointed in learning this fact.
In probably the film's most famous scene, Hiccup puts out his hand, hoping he earned his trust, and Toothless allows himself to be pet. Let's see what that means. I'm now pregnant with his child. What? Hiccup makes an artificial tail for Toothless, so getting it on him is not the easiest task.
Oh my, it's working!
Something DreamWorks usually knows how to do well is shooting its films for 3D. Even in something like B-Movie, as much of the character as possible is usually kept in the middle of the screen. So when you get a flying sequence, you really feel like you're flying with them because very little of them is cut off. And honestly, even watching it in 2D, it's not a bad way to frame your shot. It does keep it visually interesting. Even little details like Hiccup making a cheat sheet for how to operate the tail. That's not something that's needed. You could just say he figured it out, but it makes the training process feel more real. A kid would have a cheat sheet. And yeah, like I said, these flying scenes are amazing. They allow just the right amount of time to hold on these shots where you feel like you're flying with them without holding too long on them to feel distracting. It is legit hard not to hold my hands up like I'm on a roller coaster during this shot.
Here we go!
Even the actual How to Train Your Dragon roller coaster, I don't think will feel as much as a roller coaster as that one shot did. As Hiccup learns more about how dragons think and move, he
Depends on
incorporates
how they
into
did
his...
the roller coaster.
Yeah.
It's Dollywood pulled off the coolest one.
Oh yeah.
The Eagle.
Yeah.
Because like they legit made it feel like you would assume it would be to fly like an eagle and glide and such. Like it feels amazing.
I'll say this: if they're able to do like an open top one with with just like a sort of like I know they can't do a saddle mount one like what Hiccup's using for like the seats. But I think if they do an open top one instead of like an inverted one where the track is above you, then I think they could pull it off like pretty easily. But again, if they did the inverted one, they could potentially have like every seat has like their own little dragon head in front of them that it looks like you're straddling the dragon and riding it and just like woo! And actually, it'd be neat if they had like a little handle for you to grab onto on the back of the dragon. I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean all that stuff's like okay, like bonuses and stuff, but the most important thing is how it actually feels on the track.
That's true.
The reason the Eagle works so well is because of how freaking smooth it is. And it also being the inverted style where your feet are hanging and such.
So yeah.
Like I've never ridden another coaster that feels like that, and it's the closest to actually feeling like you're flying.
There's one up in Cedar Point I want to do, the Gatekeeper. Basically, it basically is like sort of similar to the Eagle, except instead you fly through obstructions as well. There's actually like these 2 key ports at the entrance of the park that you actually like twist through, and as you twist through one, and then you twist through the other one, and then you go back down to where the like park is. I think that's actually really cool. I really want to ride that one.
Dragon training, making him the new top student above Astrid.
Wow, he's better than you ever were.
Well, you are T.J. Miller, so you're already used to most people being better than you. When his father returns
Also,
from
have
the
you ever
voyage,
gotten off a roller
discover him.
coaster and immediately gotten back in the line for it
Yes.
to do it again? And that's the only one I've ever done that with, was the Eagle.
I've done that a few times, especially when the line was really short. I did that for Millennium
The
Force.
line wasn't really short, but we were just like, that was too good. We have to go again. Like, we're willing to wait again.
Yeah, I've done that with Millennium Force. I did that for the Top Thrill Dragster, and I did that for Magnum 200 and the Raptor. Those are the ones I remember doing that for whenever me and my family went up there one time.
Pickup's amazing accomplishments.
With you doing so well in the ring, we finally have something to talk about.
I think that's the happiest and saddest line in the movie.
And all the while you were holding out on me. Oh, Thor almighty!
Again, these scenes are usually so annoying because you know there's gonna be that lame moment where the truth comes out and the other person isn't gonna listen. But you legit feel the excitement from both of them. Hiccup finally being able to relax with his father, and his father feeling like he doesn't have to worry about his son anymore. He's gonna be okay, they can just connect. It's the kind of moment where you go, oh yeah, this is why it became a cliche to begin with. It really can lead to some good scenes.
Yes. See, when it's actually executed well, and it's not done bog standard like, and they don't put any care and effort into it, and it's like, oh, this is a story beat. That's it. It's like, no, this is like the character building moment. It's just, ugh. Cliches are cliches for a reason. It's because they work in terms of storytelling elements. When it's overdone, I get it, but when it's done good, you need to acknowledge it.
Something your mother would have wanted you to have it. It's half of her breastplate.
Don't take this the wrong way, but no, it's not. When Hiccup
Half of her breastplate, well, I mean, it was probably like the top part of her breastplate that got shaped into a helmet. I mean, I don't know.
is picked by the Elder to be the dragon
Yeah, but
killer
that
over
wasn't the
Astrid.
joke.
Yeah,
I know,
They
it's,
were going for.
I know, it's to, yeah.
I've always given about this Elder and her role in this world. I know nothing about this character and forgot she was in the movie. Astrid finally follows him to get some answers.
That's for the lies. That's for everything else.
Oh yeah? Well, this is for looking like Girl Dewey from Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh.
Toothless discovers her, and at first he's like, hey, Hiccup's my date.
Toothless! And now the spinning. Thank you for nothing, you useless reptile.
Disney's reaction after releasing any movie about a dinosaur. They eventually warm up to each other as Toothless sees she's not a threat and takes her on an amazing flight through the sky. He's even nice enough
Also
to
that
turn day to
music.
night, diving from above the clouds to above the clouds again. Yeah, that was weird.
Well, okay. I'll say this: the music as well. The music sells the scene as well, along with the visuals.
Toothless is pulled into almost a hypnotic trance, though, as it looks like the majority of dragons are instinctually drawn to steal food for one giant dragon. That sick part of me that loves it when a kid's film shows a cute, cuddly little character getting destroyed.
Totally makes sense. It's like a giant beehive. They're the workers, and that's their queen. It controls them.
Yes, it totally, kinda, maybe makes sense. Yeah, they don't explain this big, bad dragon that well, and I will admit, it's probably the weakest part of the film. They want you to like both the dragons and the Vikings, yet they still have to have the Vikings fear the dragons, so I guess this was their best workaround. But the dragons seem smart enough to work beyond this instinct or hypnotism or whatever it is. So maybe the more vague they keep it, maybe the more you'll go, I don't know, dragon shit, I guess. Some things I don't need to understand, like I don't know why I get off to Maya Rudolph's hormone monster bathing in chewed Hubba Bubba wearing a Jack Sparrow costume in the middle of an Italian circus. Juggling grapefruit while kissing every one of them, tap dancing on Mother Brain from Super Metroid. Super Metroid has to be 16-bit with the entire cast of All in the Family watching completely naked. I just accept.
Doug, what?
That I do?
Astrid, we have to think this through carefully.
Most movies would have Hiccup give a long-winded speech about why he wants to keep the nest a secret and protect Toothless, but just some good acting and tight dialogue gets across more than any speech could.
To protect your pet dragon? Are you serious?
Yes.
Follow-up question, are you doing anyone tonight? I mean anything tonight.
That's for kidnapping me. That's for everything else.
See, why can't the people I kidnap react that way? The next day, Hiccup plans to tell everyone the truth as his father gets everybody ready for his son's first dragon killing.
If someone had told me Hiccup would go to placing first, well, I would have tied him to a mast and shipped him off for feeding gone mad.
Speaking of which, we should probably send a ship out to get the one person we did that to. Issue him an apology.
If he's still
down his
alive.
weapons and shows that dragons can be friendly, but a misunderstanding causes the dragon to turn violent. They're incredibly kind. We can learn to live together in peace and harmony. Toothless comes in to save the day and gets caught as Hiccup is revealed to be a dragon sympathizer. He accidentally lets it slip as well that he's been to their nest.
Only a dragon can find the island. Dad, no, please. It's not what you think. You don't know what you're up against. It's like nothing you've ever seen.
No longer will people mock that I'm Yosemite Sam after he swallowed that guy from Asterix.
No.
You've thrown your lot in with them. You're not my son.
Again, moments like this, I usually hate because the antagonist is too one-note and unlikable, but then this happens.
Actually, a showing
That
of humanity.
look goes a long way. It's a look that doesn't come out of nowhere either. You can see the same guy at the beginning of this movie have the same reaction after seeing that. If anything, the fact that he has gone through such a roller coaster and how he sees his son makes this reaction more believable. People think the big difference between an epic and an adventure is big battles and explosions, but it's not. It looks like that. Also, it's good dialogue like this after Hiccup's father harnesses Toothless to find the nest.
Why couldn't I have killed that dragon?
Why didn't you?
I couldn't.
That's not an answer.
I wouldn't kill a dragon.
You said wouldn't that time.
I wouldn't.
Well, I certainly wouldn't say this film relies on its dialogue. It is nice to know it's still really good. The scene even ends on a good line.
What are you gonna do about it?
Probably something stupid.
You've already done that.
Then something crazy.
What about smart? Are we out of smart?
Yeah.
The Vikings use Toothless to find the dragon's nest.
Right.
Time to go.
Alpha Dragon Lord, whatever.
Actually, I think they actually called it in the credits or like in the director's commentary, the Green Death.
It's not very
Even the
green,
design
though.
of this thing is kind of weak. Like, yeah, it's big, but it looks like an underwater dinosaur you'd find in Pac-Land. I don't get ruler of all dragons, really.
You're gonna need something to help you hold on.
Hiccup teaches the other kids to ride the dragons, which took him weeks to learn, but I guess seconds to teach, and they fly in trying to save their army.
Every bit the boar-headed, stubborn Viking you ever were.
Again, the expressions on Hiccup's father adds a lot. I could easily see a version where he goes mad with vengeance and keeps trying to attack, but once he sees the size of their enemy, he immediately knows Hiccup was right and they can't win this. The look he has when he sees the kids saving the day riding the dragons, as well as him choosing to save Toothless from drowning, does believably show how much the character has grown, even in such a short amount of time. Again, little but poignantly precise moments can add so much more than pages of dialogue. Like, how many times have we heard the line, "I'm sorry for everything, I'm proud to call you my son"? We've heard that line so many times in movies, it means practically nothing. But look how meaningful those lines are acted and animated here. You can tell this is the first time he's ever said these words, and he means every one of them.
I'm sorry for everything. I'm proud to call you my son.
I'll sing you a ballad when you return. That's okay, Dad. I've heard you, That's okay, Dad.
Oh, come on, don't make fun of... Okay.
Toothless and Hiccup figure out the dragon's power source and blow it up, causing him to, well, also blow up. Hiccup saves the day, but not without a price.
Yep.
Again, doesn't that reaction say so much more than words ever could? I like something is legit lost, and that loss is always going to stay with him. In these reactions show, he realizes that, and it's gonna be difficult to adapt. That's
At the
such a
same
simple...
time, like, it's so cool because now he's like toothless, you know.
Yeah. They match, and also the fact is, you know, it shows that the hero doesn't always get away unscathed. Sometimes they lose something, and it's something very bad, very big. I mean, losing a foot, like my granddad was a paraplegic, paralyzed from the waist down. I could not imagine at 29, in the peak of my life, being told I'm never going to walk again. Like that is horrendous for me to think about. But yeah, anyway.
But really powerful moment in a kid's film. Honestly, it feels more adult than some adult films. There really is a strength to perfecting an expression in animation that I think is underappreciated. With that said, we do get an overall happy ending as the wicked dragon's dead and the rest of the flying reptiles live happily with the Vikings.
While other places have ponies or parrots, we have dragons.
Yeah, not sure what killing their leader did to their instinct. I mean, how do bees react if their queen is destroyed? And was that their queen? Did she lay eggs? Did she just threaten them? Was it even a she? Their psyche could have been damaged beyond repair and we wouldn't know it. Oh well, I look forward to not answering these questions in the sequel, but at least our storyboards can be reused in the near future. And that was, like I said, gotta be better than what we're about to get. Again, I haven't seen it yet, so time will tell, but either way, this film took a lot of familiar elements and retold them in a way that, okay, isn't that new, all things considered, but it's just done really, really well. It's the cheeseburger from the menu. It's not doing anything that groundbreaking, it's just really damn good. The characters are relatable, the visuals immersive, the emotions are strong, the animation is expressive, and the story knows when to be detailed and when to be simple. Like I said, the vagueness of how the main dragon works is still the weak point, but measured against everything else, it does little damage. The smart direction mixed with good pacing and stellar animation is what turns this from an overdone story to a unique experience that people keep coming back to. Whatever's in store for this franchise, good or bad, we all know it hatched from a very special beginning. I'm the nostalgia critic, I remember, so you don't have to.
It's not what you look like, it's what's inside that he can't stand.
Well, there we go. All right. So there we are. How to Train Your Dragon. Still one of my favorite animated films of the 2010s. Easily. I mean, good lord. If I could see this in 3D on the big screen again, I would love to. I really would. I mean...
I just, I don't know. I have a bad feeling with all these live-action remakes that I know what's coming eventually, that I'm... Like, at this point, I'm not going to be surprised, but the one that I'm really going to be like, no! Absolutely not! There's no way in hell you can ever pull this off and make it work like it did in the original.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what that is?
What's that?
The Incredibles.
Please don't let them do that.
There's no way in hell you can have anybody cast that will fit the characterization that they pull off in those characters.
Yeah.
Or the sequences of action. Like, you're not going to get it on Marvel level like it's going to have to be. And especially the expressiveness. You're never going to get that kind of expressiveness in live action ever. But
I hear what you're saying.
One movie after another. They're not going to stop because people aren't going to stop going to see them.
Nope.
Hoping that they'll be good for some freaking reason.
So I'm looking here at like the reviews for it.
I mean,
so
like
far.
we said when we watched the trailer, it didn't look that bad. It looked better than the Disney remakes. But really, you're trying to redo something in live action that was already 10 out of 10. Like, you're already setting a very high bar for yourself, you know?
Yes.
It's going to be difficult to top. It was like, I can't believe Bloober Team managed to actually do Silent Hill 2 the way they did.
And that's definitely
like, anytime
amazing
you set
surprise.
out to remake a 10 out of 10, you're just like, why would you do that to yourselves, you know? But they pulled it off.
Yeah.
But people usually don't.
So, yeah, Gerard Butler. I'm happy at least he's coming back as stoic. Nick Frost as Globber's actually as Gobber's kind of hilarious. Friggin' Danny. And then, let's see, Mason Thames, Theo Parker. I really don't know how this is going to work. But I hope that it at least is good. From what I've seen from reviews so far, they're saying that it is pretty good. Like 77 out of 100, or 77%. But compare that to the original, and yeah, critical reception, a 99% positive. That is unbelievable. I hope it is at least favorable and they do certain things good, but I don't know. We'll see. So, How to Train Your Dragon. Are y'all interested in seeing the new one? What do y'all think of the original? Do y'all think the original is good, or do you think it's overrated? We'd love to hear what y'all got to say.
For me, I'm personally never going to go see a remake of anything unless someone tells me that it's as good as or better than the original, because why?
Yeah.
What's the point?
This is
it's
always
already a perfectly amazing one.
This is always what I've said. Making a remake to something that's already amazing shouldn't be the plan that you go for. Mm-hmm. The plan should be
fixing things that had potential.
Exactly.
But didn't quite pull it off.
Yes. Oh my God, there's so many things that you could do. So many mid films that had such potential that you could fix, that you could make right and actually take advantage of like a fresh idea. This is what we deal with, everybody, where studios are just like, well, this was previously successful. Let's just remake it. It's like, sir, it's only been 15 years. Yeah, you're right. Live action remake. That'll do it.
The dumb thing, too, is they have blueprints for how to fix all those things because they have so many reviews they could go read and be like, what do they say is wrong with it? Okay. And, you have scientific data to an extent on what people subjectively thought about it.
Yes.
And thought was wrong with it, because you can put together who said that this was wrong. Okay, did anybody else say that was wrong? And it's like, no, nobody else said that was wrong. Okay, maybe we don't need to tweak that bad then. But everybody said this was wrong, so we're definitely going to change that.
Yes.
Yeah, and you have blueprints to work off of to make it a better film, like if you remake it.
100%. Well, everyone, hope that you all enjoyed. And we hope that you all will go ahead and check out more from Doug. As a matter of fact, if you want to, his channel should be popping up right here. You can go and check out any multitude of other videos that Doug has done. And if you also want to check out more from us, there's a subscribe thing right here that you can hit. Sorry, I hit my glass there. And also, don't forget to leave a like on the video, because that really helps these videos get pushed into the algorithm and helps us, reach a broader audience. And also, if you want to see our D&D sessions, our Curse of Strahd campaign, which is currently on hold, but we have several episodes that I haven't released yet. I'll be posting there soon. I have it right here, and in front of Nick is a random video, probably Nostalgia Critic related, we'll see. But, yeah, till next time, everyone, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.